Welcome to the Okavango Delta in Botswana. It's one of the wildest places on the planet, full of elephants, hippos, crocs, and lions. And it's known as one of the most exclusive safari locations in Africa. I'm on a 5-week trip across Africa, starting from Cape Town. And in the last video, my group and I went on our first safari in Namibia. But in this video, we're going on 3 separate safaris by 3 different modes of transportation. The first method, by air. We're going helicopter riding. Sean, we apologize in advance if we die. This is not your fault. If it's anybody's fault, it's Greg's. So. We drove along the tarmac to our tiny little doorless helicopters. These almost looked fake, and since it was my first helicopter ride, I was a bit skeptical. But before I knew it, we had taken off. We flew out about 10 minutes over small villages and communities before making it into the Delta, where we found animals everywhere we looked. The animal we saw the most was elephants. But we also saw wildebeest, zebras, and Cape buffalo, which is one of the big 5 that we had missed in Namibia. Then we found this island of hippos. And I think the sound of our helicopter spooked these giraffes. At first, I was a little nervous about flying in a helicopter. It was my first time after all. But it ended up being a great time. And over far too soon. Because before we knew it, we were heading back to the airstrip. That was so sick. That was awesome. Sean, we made it. We didn't die.
We're back.
That was incredible. I want to do that every day of my life. Today we have a real treat for everyone. It's Siobhan's birthday, and she gets to have her own special vlog.
Well, it's been amazing. What can I say? Normally I just get up and have an extra egg because it's my birthday, but today it's been an extra bottle of wine. And this is my friend, excuse me, it's my drunken friend who brought me here, but it's been amazing. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wine involved in it. But never mind, I'm hoping to get through the Delta, Okavango Delta, to make it to my next birthday. I love you all, my followers.
Hopefully we have more to come after the Delta. We hope that Siobhan survives. Some people in the group were getting a little nervous about camping in the Delta. Siobhan, you look mighty happy for the last day of your life.
Here we are. Well, they say it's like a revelation. When you see the end coming, you see the light. Yes, please. We see the light. So we're happy. Goodbye, dear followers.
How are you feeling?
Oh, good. Just sign my life away.
You guys ready for the Okavango Delta? Yeah! Woo! Is this side ready for the Okavango Delta? Is this one more ready? Yeah! How about this one? Yeah! How about this one? And this one? Eventually it's gonna die. Okay, enough of me being obnoxious. It was time for us to go. We were heading into the Delta. Or at least so we thought. This is what a regular tire looks like. This is not how a tire should look. Tell us what's happening.
Well, I just don't know what's happened. There we were, bouncing along, a lovely rhythm, and the next thing is went, oh! And look what we have. Our 5-star vehicle has just dropped to 3-star. So they're repairing it while we go bushy in the bushes. I'm still alive, followers.
So the adventure continues. And just like that, we're back in the vehicles. With a new wheel secured, we continued on, and it wasn't long before we saw our first herd of elephants. Then we arrived at our next safari method. Step 1 complete. Step 2, survive canoes. By Mokoro, or canoe. We loaded up everything we needed for the night into our canoe. Siobhan has made it into the canoe. And then we were off. So there's a hippo there. Oh, he's always there? Mokoros are a traditional shallow dugout canoe used in this region, and is propelled by a poler who stands at the back of the boat and pushes the canoe with a long pole. This was a totally unique and peaceful way to experience the Delta. Every year, floodwaters from Angola travel hundreds of miles to transform a massive chunk of desert into an inland oasis. This year, the floodwaters were low, so in some of the smaller stream-like areas, the Mokoros bottomed out and had to be dragged through. We may not have seen a ton of big game, but we did get up close with a ton of birds, small crocodiles, otters, and even saw this water buck crossing. After about an hour and a half, we made it to camp. Camp was set up in a small thicket that showed signs of recent elephant activity. We were out in the wild. No fences, no electricity, no toilets, just us and the animals. We made some lunch, and before we knew it, the animals found us. We officially made it through part 2 of the Mokoros, the canoes. We've arrived at our camp, and there's elephants right over there. Survival is of the utmost importance. Let's see what Shiv has to say.
Well, I am blown over by the extent of this wonderful delta with our marvelous polars. Here we have Tiger.
Tiger is my name.
Yes.
It's a second deck.
Who brought us here safely. We passed hippo, crocodile, and now they have put my tent up in an elephant trail. So, woo! That's today. Tell you more later when we go out in the wilds.
There's a bunch.
This is like a pond between us and them.
Yeah, because they can't swim. Before we got too busy watching all of the animals nearby, the polars showed us our new bathroom. Toilet talk with Siobhan.
Well, I am hugely impressed by the facilities. The path to here is guided by elephant dung, and from here we can make our own dung. It is comfortable, it's airy, and it's very practical. Well done, polars.
This is absolutely unreal. We were mesmerized by all of these huge animals. That wasn't until one of them started coming close to camp.
elephant right there. And camp, that's right here.
There's not much you can do when these 3-ton animals come near except to keep an eye on them. And as we watched, we were treated with a juvenile taking a mud bath. We could have watched this little guy all day, but the pullers had another idea for us. They took us on our third and most exciting method of safari, by foot. We broke up into groups and set out to explore the area by foot, hiking for the next 2 hours.
Coming up on hippos.
There were so many hippos hanging out on the shoreline, and I couldn't believe how close we were getting. On foot. Hippos are often cited as the most dangerous animals in Africa because they are highly territorial and aggressive, particularly in and around water.
We're like really close to a bunch of hippos. That right there. That's wild.
Most of them were sleeping until something spooked them and they ran back into the water where they feel safest. Because they don't want to turn into a pile of bones. I couldn't believe how big these tusks are. They're the size of my hand.
Update. We are surrounded by elephants on all sides.
All of a sudden, we found ourselves in a really dangerous situation.
Tiger says we can keep going.
We literally had 3 herds of elephants around us. They all had babies, and they were all heading to water.
Wait up.
Our guide just left us.
There's elephants there. There's elephants there. There's elephants there. There's a warthog over there. And a bunch of hippos in the water over there. I think it's safe to say it's the end for us.
Being between an animal and a water source is just about one of the most dangerous places you can be. Tiger was figuring out the best way out of this jam, and he instructed us to hurry. Thanks to Tiger's expert navigation, we made it out safe and sound for one of my favorite parts of any day on this continent: sunset. There's something magical about sunsets on the African plains. Maybe it's the return to nature or being surrounded by animals. Maybe it's the bright red color or experiencing beauty with friends. Whatever it is, it's a feeling I will never forget. And the sunset signified that the night was just beginning. The pullers made a stew over the fire, and they performed songs, dances, and skits for us late into the evening under the stars. Camping in the Okavango Delta is an experience I will never forget. And for Siobhan's fear of being eaten by a lion,
Good morning. what can I say? It's a brilliant day. I survived. I survived. It was great, and we had an exquisite dinner and a beautiful breakfast sunrise. So what can I say? I'll be back for another vlog a little later on today. Bye!
Experiencing the Okavango Delta is something I would recommend to anyone and everyone with the means to do so. Comment below what type of safari was your favorite. Thanks for watching. And now for the frog dance.
Chura, chura.